ask him to shake hands with you, but he will not move, because it is contrary to the order of heaven for a just man to deceive. But he will still deliver his message. If it be the devil, as an angel of light, when you ask him to shake hands, he will offer you his hand, and you will not feel anything. You may, therefore, detect him. These are three grand keys whereby you may know whether any administration is from God. Now, this is clearly this is clearly temple talk here. But the point is that God is a God of order, and that order is a priesthood order. And when God sends a messenger, he gives clear instruction and mechanisms, plain and precious, nothing complicated, nothing superstitious, nothing mystic. He gives plain and precious instruction on how you can discern if a message, a revelation from someone purporting to be a messenger of God, is legitimate. And this in connection with what we learn in the temple, it's so plain and precious. It's so simple. But what it's saying is, hey, there's a priesthood order. And if truth is being revealed to you by someone in an office, in a position in that priesthood order, within proper authority, within proper stewardship, like that is the mechanism of discernment. Okay, now this is a very literal and temporal example of how you could go about testing and trying those angels, those spirits, the truthfulness of a message. And what it's saying is the truthfulness, your confidence in the truthfulness of a message can be found in your confidence in that messenger.
I really appreciate how a few sections back, was it last week or maybe the week before, where we had talked about how in one of Joseph's letters, he references this experience he had on the Susquehanna River, and how, how Lucifer basically Satan tried to deceive him as an angel of light, right? And we said, where's this recorded? Like, he just kind of throws it in there all of a sudden, but yet it's not really mentioned much previously, but clearly Joseph was accustomed to and was acquainted with these types of experiences. And I actually love that he calls this knowledge grand keys, right? We talk about keys of the priesthood a lot. And what does this show us that those keys are? Well, it's actually just the outward physical manifestation. It's the exercise of that truth and that knowledge that one has, right? That's what the keys are. Now, most keys are given to very specific individuals to exercise or to outwardly perform these things in a very organized manner. But Joseph here is saying these are actually keys that all of God's children have, right? That's very interesting, that anyone can, let me rephrase, not necessarily all of God's, but the covenant children of God, right, have been given these keys to exercise when necessary, when the opportunity may arise. Again, something we don't talk about much in the church today. However, this is very clearly taught in the endowment right now, today, even as much as it's changed. This is all still very, very much being administered and taught, even if it's not overtly, right? But Joseph was keenly aware of the implications and the impact that this has. And it is interesting because once again, you see Joseph addressing at least one of the arguments that people consistently use against him. Like, he was deceived, that there was a wicked angel or demons essentially that came to him as an angel of light and deceived him and it convinced him to do all these terrible, wicked things.
Thank you for watching. If you found this content spiritually enlightening, please like, comment, and subscribe.
Like the gospel, these little things make all the difference, and it helps the algorithm push out better content for everyone to enjoy on YouTube.